Hello and welcome, friends. Today I talk about the physiology of money, timeless lessons on wealth, greed, and happiness. Morgan Housel. Everyone should own a copy. James Clear, New York Times best-selling author of Atomic Habit. The Physiology of Money, Timeless Lessons on Wealth, Greed, and Happiness, Morgan Housel. Contents. A genius is the man who can do the average thing. A genius is the man who can do the average thing when everyone else around him is losing his mind. Napoleon says, a genius is the man who can do the average thing when everyone else around him is losing his mind, said Napoleon. And said Sherlock Holmes, the world is full of obvious things which nobody by any chance ever observes. The world is full of obvious things which nobody by any chance ever observers. Sherlock Holmes. Introduction. The greatest show on earth. I spent my college years working as a valet at a nice hotel in Los Angeles. One frequent guest was a technology executive. He was a genius, having designed and passionate a key component in Wi-Fi routers in his 20 seconds. He had started and sold several companies. He was widely successful. He also had a relation with money I had described as a mix of insecurity and childish stupidity. He carried a stack of $100 bills several inches thick. He showed it to everyone who wanted to see it and many who did not. He bragged openly and loudly about his wealth, often while drunk and always apropos of nothing. One day he handed one of my collegians several $1,000 of cash and said, "Go to the jewelry stores down the street and get me a few dollars, 1,000 gold coins." An hour later, gold coins in hand, the tech executive and his buddies gathered around by a dock overlooking the Pacific Ocean. They then proceeded to throw the coins into the sea, skipping them like rocks, cackling as they argued whose went furthest, just for fun. Days later, he shattered lamp in the hotel's restaurant. A manager told him it was a $500 lamp and he have to replace it. "You want $500? The executive asked incredulously while pulling a brick of cash from his pocket and handing it to the manager. Here's $5,000. Now get out of my face, and do not ever insult me like that again. You may wonder you may wonder how long this behavior could last, and the answer was not long. I learned year later that he went broke. The promise, the premise of this book is that doing well with money has a little to do with how smart you are and a lot to do with how you behave. And behavior is hard to teach even to really smart people. A genius who loses control of their emotions can be a financial disaster. The opposite is also true. Ordinary folks with no financial education can be wealthy if they have a handful of behavioral skills that have nothing to do with formal measures of intelligence. My favorite Wikipedia entry begins: Ronald James Reed was an American philanthropist, philanthropist, investor, janitor, and gas station attendant. Ronald Reed was born in rural Vermont. He was the first person in his family to graduate high school, made all the more impressive by the fact that he hitchhiked to campus each day. For those who knew Ronald Reed, there was not much else worth maintaining. His life was about the low key as they come. Reed fixed a car at a gas station for 25 years and swept floors at JCPenney for 70 years. He bought a bedroom houses for $12,000 at age of 80 and 38 age, and lived there for the rest of his life. He was widowed at age 50 and never remarried. A friend recalled that his man nobody was chopping firewood. Reed died in 2040 as 92, which is when the humble rural janitor made international headlines. 280,3503 Americans died in 2040. Fewer than 4,000 of them had a net worth of over $8 million when they passed away. Ronald Reed was one of them. In his will, the former janitor left $2 million to his stepkids and more than $6 million to his local hospital and library. Those who knew Reed were baffled. Where did he get all that money? It turned out that was no secret. There was no lottery win and no inheritance. Reed saved what little he could and invested it in blue chip stocks. Then he waited for decades on end as tiny saving compounded into more than $8 million $8 million. That's it. From janitor to philanthropist. A few months before Roland Reed died, another man named Richard was in the news. Richard Fuscon was everything Ronald Reed was not: a Harvard educated Merrill Lynch executive with an MBA. Fuscon has had such a successful career in finance that he retired in his 42nd um, 42nd to become a philanthropist. Former Merrill CEO David Komansky praised Fuscon's business savvy, leadership skills, sound judgments, and personal integrity. Crane's Business magazine once included him in a 40 under 40 list of successful business people. Number 2, but then, like the gold coin skipping tech executive, everything fell apart. In the mind 2002, Fuscon borrowed heavily to expand an 80,000 square foot home in Greenwich, Connecticut that had 11 bathrooms, 2 elevators, 2 pools, 7 garages and cost more than $90,000 a month to maintain. Then the 2008 financial crisis hit. The crisis hurt virtually everyone's finances. It apparently turned Fuscons into dust. High debt and illiquid assets left him bankrupt. I currently have no income. He already told a Brooklyn bank bankruptcy judge in 2008. First, his Palm Beach house was foreclosed. In 2040, it was the Greenwich Mansion turn. 5 months before Ronald Reed left his fortune to charity, Richard Fuscon's home, where guests recalled the thrill of dining and dancing atop a see-through covering on the home's indoor swimming pool, was sold in a foreclosure auction for 75% less than an insurance company figured it was worth. Number 3, Ronald Reed was patient. Richard Fuscon was greedy. That's all it took to eclipse the massive education and experience gap between the two. The lesson here is not to be more like Ronald and less like Richard Thug. That's not bad advice. That's not bad advice. The fascinating things about these stories is how unique they are to finance. In what others industries does someone with no college degree, no training, no background, no formal experiences, and no connections, no connections massively outperform outperforms someone with the best education, the best training, and the best connections. I struggle to think of any. It's impossible to think of a story about Ronald Reed performing a heart transplant better than a Harvard training a surgeon or designing a skyscraper superior to the best training architects. There will never be a story of a janitor outperforming the world's top nuclear engineers. But these stories too do happen in investing. In investing, the fact that Ronald Reed can coin, coist, coin, something can coexist, coexist, coexist with Richard Ferscon has two explanation. One, financial outcomes are driven by luck, independent of intelligence and effort. That's true to some extent, and this book will discuss it in further details or two. And I think more common that financial success is not a hard science, it's a soft skill where how you behave is more important than what you know. Where how you behave is more important than what you have know. I call this soft skill the physiology of money. The aim of this book is to use short stories to convince you that soft skills are more important than the technical side of money. I all do this in a way that will help everyone from Reed to Foscon and everyone in between make better financial decisions. Their soft skills are high. I have come to realize greatly under underappreciated. Finance is overwhelmingly thought as a math-based field where you put data into a formula and the formula tells you what to do, and it's assumed that you all just go do it. This is true in personal finance where you are told to have a 6-month emergency fund and save 10% of your salary. It's true in investing where we know the exact historical correlations between interest rates and valuations, and it's true in corporate financial where CFOs can measure the precious cost of capital. It's not that any of these things are bad or wrong, it's that knowing what to do that tells you nothing about what happens in your head when you try to do it. Two topics impact everyone whether you are interested in them or not: health and money. The healthcare industry is a triumph of modern science with rising life expectancy across the world. Scientific discoveries have replaced doctors' old ideas about how the human body works, and virtually everyone is healthier because of it. The money industry, investing, personal, financial, business planning is another story. Finance has scooped up the smartest minds coming from the top of universities over the last 2 decades. Financial engineering was the most popular major in Princeton's School of Engineering a decades ago. Is there any evidence it had made us better investors? I have since known through collective trial and error over the year we learned how to better farmers, skilled plumbers, and advanced chemists. chemists but, but has trial and error taught us to become better with our personal finances? Are we less likely to bury ourselves in debate, more likely to save for a rainy day, prepare for retirement, have realistic views about what money does and does not to do our happiness? I have seen no compelling evidence. Most of the reason why I believe is that we think about and are taught about money in ways that are too much like physics with rules and laws, and not enough like physiology with emotions and nouns. And that to me is as fascinating as it is important. Money is everywhere. It affects all of us and confuses most of us. Everyone think about it a little differently. It offers lessons on things that apply to many areas of life, like risk, confidence, and happiness. Few topics offer a more powerful magnifying glass that helps explain why people behave the way they do not way they do. Then money, it is one of the greatest source on earth. My own appreciation for the physiology of money is separated by more than a decade of writing on the topic. I began writing about finance in early 200 sorry 2088 2080 sorry 2008. It was the dawn of financial crisis and worst recession in 80 years. To write about what was happening, I wanted to figure out what was happening, but the first thing I learned after the financial crisis that no one could accurately explain what happened or why it happens, let alone what should be done about it. For every good explanations, there was an equally convincing rebuttal. Engineer can determine the cause of bridge collapse collapse because there is agreement that if a certain amount of force is is applied to a certain area, that area will break. Physics is not controversial. It is guided by laws. Finance is different. It's guided by people's behavior, and how I behave might make sense to me but look crazy to you. The more I studied and wrote about the financial crisis the more I realized that you could understand it better through the lessons of philosophy, physiology, and historical history, not finance. To grasp why people bury themselves in debt, debt, debt debate, you do not need to study interest rates. You need to study the history of greed, insecurity, and optimism to get why investors sell out at the bottom of a bear market. You do not need to study the math of expected future returns. You need to think about the agony of looking at your family and wondering if your investments are impairing their full future. I love Voltaire's observations that history never respect history never repeats itself. Man always does. It applies so well to how we behave with money. In 2018, I wrote a report outlining 20 of the most important flaws, biases, biases and causes of bad behavior I have seen affect people when dealing with money. It was called The Physiology of Money, and over 1 million people have read it. This book is deeper dive into the topic. Some short passages from the report appear usual appear uni, unaltered unaltered in this book. Unaltered in this book. What you are holding in these 220 chapters is describing what I consider to be the most important and often counterintuitive features of the physiology of money. The chapters revolve around a common theme, but exists on their own and can be read in, independently. It has not. It's not a long book. You're welcome. Most readers do not finish the books then begins because most single topics do not require 300 pages of explanations. I had rather max 20 short points you finish than one long one you give up on. On we go. So thank you so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe the channel. Next topic is no one's crazy. Is next topic. So thank you so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe the channel. Next topic, no one's crazy, is new video and next time. So keep trying, keep the best, keep doing. Thank you so much for watching. Keep well, keep healthy, stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe the channel. I hope you have best in your career of financial of monies. You have much better. So the physiology of money, Housel Morgan successfully redid. So thank you so much for watching, and sorry for the I max tried to help and read the books, and sorry for the words are making reads too. So hope next video are giving best. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe the channel.